Okay, previous session we discussed about the troubleshooting. Okay, what are the things and where to start any issue, how to identify. Okay, the first thing what we discussed, how to connect server in the sense, for example, while working on server administration, the basic issue starts with network connection. Okay, if the network is having an issue, how to verify the connection. Okay, we should have an IP address. With that IP address, first we are going to try to ping. Am I able to ping that server? Okay. If a server is not able to ping, what immediate action we need to do? We need to check the gateway. Respective server, for each and every network, there is a gateway available. Okay. We need to test the communication for that gateway network. Okay. How the gateway network is pinging, is able to communicate to that IP address or not. Okay. Whatever the server, any server, first we need to test the communication. Most of the issues starts with the communication issues. So first we need to address, is that server related to communication issue? If the server is able to ping or not pinging, then we need to test the communication for the respective server. Okay, IP address is over. IP address is not getting response. Is that the only issue with the server, or is there any issue for the respective gateway? Gateway in the sense, for that entire network, one central point, that gateway point. From there only every system will able to communicate. So am I able to reach that gateway? Okay. Generally, how to find out? Generally, for any environment, what they are going to do, they are going to maintain an inventory. Inventory in the sense, what is the server? What is the server IP? What is the gateway for that particular server? Everything will be there in a kind of Excel sheet, so that without logging to the server also, we are in a position to understand what is that server IP, what is the gateway. Okay, we are not able to ping gateway also, or we are able to ping the gateway. If you are able to ping the gateway, then there is no network issue. If I am not able to reach the gateway also, then immediately we need to escalate to network administrator. Okay, for example, server I am able to ping, but still I am not able to perform remote desktop connection. Then what is the option? We need to connect to console of the respective system. Okay, once we access to the console, then where we need to go, where we need to navigate. Okay, expand the system, any system. Okay, see, as an administrator, you should know what we are going to troubleshoot. First, where to go, how to start the troubleshooting. That is a key point in server administration. So I'm working for the network communication issues. So we need to check what are the components comes in network troubleshootings. Okay, first we verify the IP address, then we verify the gateway, then we connected to console. What we need to check? We are working for the network troubleshooting, so we have to check the is that network card is configured properly or not. Okay, so to check the network connection, we have to check the network related items only. Okay, that is a starting point. Okay, if you are working network points, if you are going somewhere else, okay, instead of working on networking, if you are going checking the user properties, does it make any sense? So where to start, where to go, that navigation, okay, understanding the underlying architecture, okay, that is important in troubleshooting. So go to view network connections. So for example, in this particular place, that network icon is not visible. The network icon itself not visible. Forget about network properties. We connected to console. This network particular place network icon is not visible. What could be the problem? Then immediately where we need to go? We need to check the network card is presented on system. Is that network driver installed on the system? Where to go? To check the drivers for every system. Operating system we are installing to establish a interface between the application and the hardware. What is the drivers? Drivers are nothing but whatever the components are connected to motherboard, that operating system able to understand. For each driver, there is an interface between the operating system and the respective device. So where we need to check? Device manager. Where the device manager is available, go to server manager. Under diagnostics, device manager. You remember, we as soon as we completed the installation, we came here and verified what are the devices components are installed here. For any device, if the issue is working, some issue is there, that underline what are the components are coming into that lane. We need to understand everything. We need to cross verify. First, we are working on a networking component, communication component. We need to check network related all the components. Okay, first we verified the communication, it's not working. Connected to console, we verified the connection properties. There is no network card visibility. Then where we need to go is the driver is installed properly or not. Then we have to come back to device manager and see is the network card presented, is there any issue with the driver. If the driver is properly installed for the respective device, here it is going to show as the respective component. If the driver is not installed, it is going to show as an yellow exclamation mark, yellow highlight. That in the sense, unknown device. So we need to identify the device, we need to install the driver. Here the driver is nothing but driver is again the respective hardware device is going to provide an better interface to the operating system layer. Okay, the respective driver is nothing but driver is going to work as an interface, better communication, better interface between the respective hardware device and the operating system what we install. Okay, so this is the way we are going to troubleshoot. Then next, network card is available. We identified the network card is visible. Then what we need to check is that IP address configured properly. Okay, go to server manager, view network connections. So IP address configuration, verify the IP address configuration, everything is set properly or not. Okay. This is DHCP. How to check is that IP address is working properly or not. Go to command prompt. Is that getting IP address from the DHCP server or not? Even if it is not getting IP address from the DHCP server, what will happen? It won't be able to establish communication to the respective outside world. So I'm able to get the information here. So what is the IP address? What we need to do at the first step from this particular system, am I able to communicate outside? From outside, we verified the communication to the respective server, not able to establish communication. Now, what action we need to do? Either the system is able to communicate outside. How to do that? Within the same network, we can choose any other IP, or else first what we need to do, what is my gateway server? Okay, what is my gateway? Try to ping that gateway. What is the gateway? Highlight the gateway and try to ping that gateway. Try to ping the gateway. Okay, able to ping. The next communication gateway is then within the network, other systems will be there. So other system, what other systems are available? We have to try to connect, establish communication. Other systems, what the other systems are available within network? 10 is there. Okay, my AD server is there. My DNS server is there. Try to establish communication with respect to other systems. So what I'm going to isolate the issue from one by one within the network segment. Okay. So this is a part of networking troubleshooting, how to go, where to go, what are the components within the respective area we need to understand, and we need to control that all the components. Okay. This is a network related troubleshooting, the basic communication verification. The next troubleshooting is logs, how to identify the logs, where to go. Okay, for each error, most of the issues, the one is network communication, the other issue is related to server is not performing as expected. Server may be having unexpected reboot. Server may be rebooting properly or not. How to identify? Their logs are available for each operating system. Even in your desktop system also, you can check these logs, where the logs are available. Under diagnostics, there is an option event viewer. Expand event viewer. You can go to the logs in this direction, or else simply shortcut will be there for event viewer. From the run command, I can open my event viewer logs. Okay. Open Google and search what is a shortcut for event viewer. Not now. Search in internet. Okay. For each action in administration, for each action there will be a shortcut. There is a different ways to open that respective console. Okay. Now I am checking the logs, where the logs are available. How to verify the logs. See here, we enter server manager, there is a diagnostics, under diagnostic event viewer, expand that, there is Windows logs. Under Windows log, there are different logs. Am I working on related application issue or a system related issue? So most of the time, I'm going to work for system related issues. Go to system. There are different errors. For each log, there are 3 types of events: information, warning, and error. Okay. For each error, for each log, there is an event ID. Whatever the information it is providing here, if you are not able to understand, simply you need to search internet by referring to event ID. What is this event ID? What is this it is related to? Do I need to take any troubleshooting step? So according to this event ID, there are multiple troubleshooting steps available in internet. You can correlate, is this related to that issue or not? They are going to provide certain steps. Perform these steps. This is the issue. How to resolve. The steps will be there in the internet. Or Microsoft is going to provide an KP article, knowledge base article. Okay. First, we need to identify what is that error. Okay. How to identify that event ID. We need to check all those components. Okay. Where to check the logs. Okay. This is the place, first place where we are going to live. Okay. Second place, for each issue, for each working directory. For example, we are installing such an application. We install DHCP server. We install DNS. For each and every component, there will be a log file in respect to path. Path in the sense, wherever we install, it is going to install certain directory, certain path. So there you can find log files. Okay. This comes under advanced troubleshooting, wherein we need to go in deep and understand what errors are coming up. In KB articles, Microsoft KB articles, it clearly provides the step-by-step direction, what log you need to verify, where would be the path in the sense that the directory location, okay, where to check the issue, how to identify the log, and all those things information is available. Okay. Here, one important interview question there you may face generally: what is the event ID for normal shutdown process? What is the event ID for unexpected shutdown? What is the event ID? You can see the event ID under systems. You can see the event ID. If the system having an unexpected reboot, you can find. For example, this system I'm shutting down unexpectedly by going to VMware console. Just shut down. I'm not just a reset. Reset in the sense I'm removing the power for the system. It is going to generate an event ID. That event ID is different. If I did go to start, shutdown, initiate a shutdown, what it is going to do? It is going to start all the services, stopping all the services, and then it's going to shutdown state. The proper warm shutdown, okay, that is going to generate certain event IDs. If I'm going to power off, Okay, power of the system unexpectedly. I'm removing the power cable. Then it is going to generate some event ID. Okay, you can do that in lab. What is the event ID for unexpected shutdown? What is the event ID for safer shutdown, warm reboot? Okay, this is a system related logs, how to identify, how to understand system related event IDs. Okay, this is a related to event IDs, logs, how to identify logs. So next important troubleshooting is unexpected shutdown. Generally, systems are going to have an unexpected shutdown. Okay. What is unexpected shutdown? You are going to get if you are in front of your system, maybe in a desktop, while working on desktop system or while working on a server, you may heard about the blue screen. Blue screen in the sense, the system is going to in a hung state wherein it is going to create a blue screen under monitor. If you connect to console, it is going to show as a blue screen. Blue screen in the sense that operating system had an unexpected reboot with due to some malfunction. Malfunction in the sense it could be driver related, it could be related to software related, anything. Okay, due to the malfunction, the server is going to go into certain action. It is going to unable to cope up that action and goes to the blue screen error. We call it as a blue screen error. Blue screen error in the sense it could be the hardware problem, it could be the software problem, or it could be the driver problem, or the Windows updates. We are installing Windows updates. As soon as we complete the Windows updates, it is going to kind of blue screen. Blue screen in the sense it will be out of network. It will be out of network in the sense what you are going to do, you are not able to establish communication. Then what you are going to do, you connect to console. As soon as you connect to console, there you notice that the screen it is showing as a blue, totally blue color, and it is showing some error. That screen we call it as a blue screen. Okay, this blue screen errors, how to troubleshoot, where to troubleshoot. Okay, that dump errors. Okay, memory dump, blue screen communication, how to troubleshoot blue screen errors, dump errors, where to go, how to configure the dump. Okay, let's show you. Go to server manager. Change system properties. Change system properties. Advanced. See here, startup and recovery option is there. Startup and recovery option. Settings, startup and recovery option, settings. See here at the last, at the end, in the same screen at the end, you see the kernel memory dump. What is the path? Drop down there. Kernel memory dump, drop down there, drop down. There is an arrow. Yes. This is also one more important interview question in server administration. As an administrator, you should aware what is a blue screen error, how, where the path it is. What is the blue screen? As soon as the blue screen is going to create, what it is going to do, whatever is there, as soon as it is going to unexpected shutdown, going to before unexpected shutdown, unexpected reboot, it may go to blue screen error and start reboot, that's a reboot. Before rebooting, what the operating system is going to do, whatever the memory contents, that in the sense, before shutdown, before going unexpected reboot, whatever the contents are there in the memory, that RAM, physical memory, that contents are going to save to hard disk in some location that we call it as a memory dump. Why we needed this memory dump? Whatever the contents are there in the memory, that memory contents we need to analyze to understand why the server went to unexpected reboot. Okay, so that's wherein the kernel memory dump. For each version, operating system version, the different options available. For 2008, these are the what is small memory dump, kernel memory dump, complete memory dump. Three options are available. Okay, according to the space, what is the space it is looking for? Generally, equal to memory size, it should be available on your local system. What is the path for this memory dump file? See here, select a complete memory dump or any one option. This is system root means by default under C Windows System 32, that is a default path. System root means that is a default path. You will find memory DMP file. With this file, by using this file, if it is not configured, we need to configure. There is a none option is also available. If you select none, the memory dump is not going to be available. I'm not in a position to understand why the unexpected reboot is going to cause a problem. Okay, so we need to identify what is the memory dump, where it is available. Memory dump in the sense, before going for a blue screen and hung state, what it is going to do, it is going to save the location, save the information, whatever the contents are available in the memory, it is going to save the location into memory DMP file. How to analyze this memory DMP file? Okay, go to internet, go to desktop, open internet, Google. How to analyze blue screen errors? How to analyze blue screen? Blue screen dump file. There is a tool called WinDebug tool. WinDebug tool from the Microsoft. There is a tool called WinDebug tool. Okay, that this blue screen error, they are going to technology call it as BSOD, blue screen of death. Blue screen of death. BSOD means blue screen of death. Okay, how to analyze? There is a tool called WinDebug tool. Okay, WinDebug tool is a tool to analyze this particular DMP file. Whatever the file it is there, that file you are going to copy from that location to your system, your desktop system or another server, where you are going to load a tool. That tool name is called Microsoft tool WinDebug tool. WinDebug. See, how do I use WinDBZ debugger to troubleshoot blue screen error? The second article. How do I use WinDBZ debugger to troubleshoot the blue screen error? Okay, their step-by-step procedure is there. Okay, as an administrator, as a server administrator, you should aware what it is going to relate, how to troubleshoot. Okay, the errors. If any issue comes in operating system layer in the respective operating system, as an administrator, you should understand what that error, how to troubleshoot, what is that unexpected route, why it is causing that unexpected reboot. Okay, once you analyze that unexpected reboot by using WinDebug tool or other third-party tools, you come to know what is the error. It could be hardware related, maybe some hardware is malfunctioning, then we need to go for a firmware update. Hardware is it is a BIOS, the motherboard BIOS. Motherboard is not able to understand the certain instructions. For each device, even for your mobile device also, you are just powering on. If you switch off, it is going to switch off. If you are powering on, it is going to power on. How it is happening? There is a program on each electronic device. There is a predefined program on the respective device for each component. It could be memory, it could be processor, it could be motherboard, it could be network card, any device. For each component, there is a program available. That program is going to talk to the other component. If that component, first it is that component, how it is going to, that component is going to identify itself first, and it is going to establish communication to the next neighbor device. That interface, how it is happening, interface, how it is going to communicate with the respective device. For each device is going to have a program. That program we call it as that firmware version. Firmware version. Once you understand that this debug tool, it is going to provide an information. This firmware in the sense the BIOS program, that particular device program is having some issue. Then they will provide a recommendation. For example, I'm using an HP network card. That network card is causing this debugging issue. Server is accessing unexpected reboot. And if you go to that and debug tool, it is going to provide this issue is causing the network card. So what we need to do, that network card firmware, we need to make sure it's up to date. And the second component, that driver is up to date for each component versions and updates. For Microsoft Server, what is we are doing? We are once installed Microsoft Server, we are doing updates, patches. That in the sense, for every bug or any program issue in the software, they are going to release the updates. We are going to install that updates, okay, to fix that issue. Similar way, for each device, for each hardware component, there is a program upgrade, at the same time, the driver upgrade. Firmware and driver. We should understand both the components, okay? And the other component is, it could be software related. For example, software updates installed. As soon as it is unexpected reboot, definitely there are some changes. That in the sense, until that particular time, everything is working fine. After doing some action, we need to verify what is the action we did last couple of days or couple of hours. Going back, we need to verify on the server what are the modifications happened. We can easily identify, okay, because of this particular Windows patch installation, the server patch function abnormal. Then what we need to do? We need to go to that add remove programs, go back to the system, go back to the server. So we identified where to blue screen errors. Then what it is causing the blue screen related. Okay. According to that blue screen error, we need to troubleshoot. Where to troubleshoot? Is it driver related issue? Is it device related issue? Is it that particular operating system related issue? Sometimes even memory leak also. Memory leak in the sense, I'll come back to that memory leak issue. Then what we need to do first, we identify some driver issue. Where to address the driver issue? Go to device manager. Where to go? Device manager, go to diagnostics. This navigation is important, okay? If you are not able to practice, you are going to in trouble. Navigation, if I need to go to the respective driver, where to go, where to check, okay? The navigation, okay? How to open that? I'm trying to open network properties, network driver properties. If I'm searching local users and compute groups, does it make any sense? Okay, understanding the concept at the same time, where to start, where to go, that is also very much important. Okay, now I'm going to show you what is a driver from my network card. Okay, right click on the network card, properties, driver. See, this is my driver version. It is a Microsoft released driver provider. Who provided this driver? Microsoft provided. Microsoft independent driver. It is not a specific network card. If it is, I'm using on the server, the hardware device, hardware server. Server hardware may be IBM hardware or Dell hardware. Maybe network card, I'm using a Cisco network card or a Dell network card or HP network card. Any network card I'm going to use. What I need to make sure is the driver is a default driver. This driver is a default driver. By seeing this understanding, the driver component, network component is using default driver, Microsoft driver. But network card, what is a network card? By seeing this, it is an Intel network card. So for each card, there will be a network driver. What we need to do, we need to go to respective hardware vendor site and download the respective driver component, and we can install the driver. So better handshake. What is this? If it is causing the issue, This is a default driver. This default driver is not functioning properly. Then what I need to do? I need to download the respective driver for the respective network card. Then we need to install. So that what is the driver provided is going to come over here. Intel driver provided by Intel. Okay, what is the version, when it is released, all those information available. Okay, we can see what is the driver release date. Release date may be 2008. Now we are in 2020. So there might be definitely there will be an update. We need to make sure that while working server administration, as we are make sure update the patches, make sure up to date. At the same time, whatever the hardware we are using, the driver firmware, that device firmware, that device driver is make sure up to date. If it is working properly, that is fine, no issues. If you are encountering some issue and you are able to understand that this because of this outdated firmware is nothing but the device on the device card there is a program that is firmware. Driver is nothing but it is a component installed on the operating system. There is a slight difference, firmware and a driver is going to acts as a better interface between the operating system and the respective device. Okay, what is a firmware? Firmware is the program on that respective device. Better handshake to that where it is going to connect. Okay, that's the difference. Okay, so we understand where to go system logs. We understand that how to troubleshoot network communications. We understand what is a blue screen issues, BSOD. Okay, where it is going to save the file, dump file. Okay, how to analyze this dump file. Once you analyze, you will come to know that this is because of either hardware issue or this is because of some network drivers issue. The debug tool will provide all the information, because WinDebug is a place where we are going to do deep troubleshooting. This error, it may not be available in under system logs, under system event IDs. So that event IDs is not able to provide certain information. Then we need to go to the deep drive. Deep drive in the sense for each log, system logs and all those things. This unexpected reboot, it is not going to be available in the logs anywhere, because it is going to unexpected reboot is not going to save any file. Then where is the path available? In the DMP file. How to configure the DMP file? By going to system properties, we can configure what type of DMP. It is a complete DMP file, complete memory dump, or partial memory dump according to the requirement. So once the DMP file is available, we are going to use a tool to analyze that blue screen error. That tool may be WinDBG, WinDebug tool, Microsoft tool, or any third-party tool to analyze the respective issue. Okay, this is a troubleshooting. Okay, the next troubleshooting area is basic day-to-day issues, disk space issues. Go to my computer, go to C drive and see, open folders. Yes, see here generally disk space issues, most of the environment, most of the tickets, incidents, server administration, we are going to work on disk space issues. Disk space, we created a hard disk. Generally in earlier versions, we are going to work on legacy environment, maybe 2000 server, 2003 server. There the storage, maybe we assigned 100 GB. Maybe most of the systems may be configured with 20 GB or 40 GB. On the same drive, we are going to install respective application. If it is a DB server or any application, we are going to install. What is going to happen? The space it is going to consume, and there won't be any free space availability. So if the C drive, wherever we install, we are going to install an operating system, okay, there should be sufficient free space available to function the server properly. Okay, if the server C drive here, it is available 91 GB free space. If it is coming to free space is less than MBs, if it is coming to 1 MB or 2 MB, you are not in a position to power on the server. You are not in a the server is not going to function. Even if it is power on, it is not able to execute, because whatever the function you are going to execute, whatever the application you are going to execute on the server, what it is going to do, it is going to copy the data, write the data, or read the data. Okay, copy the data, generally executing the data in the sense it is going to copy the data and write the data. If there is no place to write the data, definitely that function is not going to work. Okay, how to address this dispatch issues? How to address this dispatch issues? Where to check? And now I am able to see the dispatch is there, 100 GB is there. Okay, for example, client is looking for another disk. Our client is looking for expand the existing disk from 900 GB to make it 120 GB. How to do that? Okay, we need to increase the space, existing drive, or we need to create an additional drive. How to do that? Disk management. Where to go? How to check the disk management? Go to server manager, expand configuration, storage, disk management. Expand the window. For all the storage actions, we are going to create a partition, we are going to create a drive, we are going to create a expansion. Whatever the action you are going to do, we are going to perform the action from this particular disk management. As an administrator, you should be aware of this disk management. Okay, how to do? Make sure generally what the basic issue we are going to add one more disk here, and then I'll show what is going to be happen. Go to server manager. What is this server? Second VM or third VM? Go to the VMware tools, VMware workstation. Go to VMware workstation. What is this server? Which server is this? What I'm going to do is,
it is third VM.
okay, okay. What I'm doing here, I'm adding a disk 10 GB. I'm adding a disk 10 GB, and I'm going to add 10 GB to existing disk. Okay, how to do this? I'm going to cover in virtualization. Okay, for a physical server, how you are going to do additional disk, in the sense if you need additional disk in a physical environment, for example, consider your laptop. Is there any option to add additional disk? You need to understand here the concept. You have a server, physical server. Physical server, then consider your laptop device. Your laptop device, am I able to add additional disk? Am I able to expand the additional disk? There is no provision. We need to understand, is the possibilities available or not? And the server, physical server, if you are working on a physical server, their base are available. If any additional place where we can insert additional hard disk, then the option is available. As we are working on virtual environment, it is quite easy to do the hard disk functions. Okay, now I'm going to do the action, but I'm going to explain how I'm going to do this action in virtualization. Don't concentrate here. I'm going to cover OS-wise disk management. Here, I'm just adding a certain component. Okay, don't try to understand here. Okay, only you need to concentrate on disk management at OS level. Okay, right click on the third VM. Settings. Add hard disk. Next. Next. Next, make it 10 GB. 10. Okay, next. Finish. Okay, I am going to expand the existing also. Select hard disk 100 GB. Hard disk 100 GB is there, na? Yes. It is not giving to edit option. Go to advanced. No, it is not giving. We need to shut down the system and then do this edition. Okay. Do one thing. Quickly shut down the system. Okay, click OK. You can see unexpected shutdown. Just right click on this particular third VM, right click, reset. Power, go to power. In your lab, you can see I'm going to what I'm going to do here. Once you do reset, it's your responsibility in your lab. What is the event ID it is generating at the system log? I'm not going to show here. If you have a lab, just directly go to and reset guest, not shut down, reset guest. It is unexpected reboot, equivalent to unexpected reboot. Once we do unexpected reboot, go to system log event and see what is the event ID it is generating. What is the safe reboot event IDs? You need to compare. Okay, or else you can Google it. What is a warm reboot event IDs? What is unexpected reboot event IDs? You can do practice, reset, do a reset. And check the event IDs, what event IDs it is generating after the class, not in the class. Okay. Okay. Here also, you can understand if some issue is happened, is it booting start normally or safe mode, how to boot to safe mode by pressing F8. But while server is coming online, if you press F8, it is going to give this menu. Okay, in this menu, you can go to safe mode or any option. Okay. These are the basic troubleshooting steps. Okay, after the disk management, the Windows updates, how to do Windows updates. We already did Windows updates. Okay, log into the system, go to the RDP session. Just do RDP here, just to log in here. What is the showing? Let's just do here. Control delete and log in. Okay, click OK. Okay, log in. We added 10 GB hard disk. How it is going to represent, we'll see that. And in addition to that, I'm going to add one more 10 GB to existing disk. Okay. Just go and start shutdown. See here, wait. Okay. Whatever the screen it is going to show is that is happened unexpected reboot. Definitely there will be an event ID. Go to server manager. Quickly go to server manager. Yes, event ID is diagnostics. Event your system. Okay. See event IDs. You will find event IDs unexpected reboot also. There will be an event ID. Okay. See the reason supplied by this unexpected shutdown to this computer. That is event ID is different. If you come down little bit, there is an event ID for unexpected shutdown. Okay. 7036 below, come down. Okay, time is not there. You can Google it and understand what is the event ID. It is very important in interview questions. Okay. Come back, shut down the server. Just 4 minutes left. I am going to cover the disk management in tomorrow session. Okay, shut down. I'm just adding the disk. Right click on third VM once it is shut down. Edit settings. Select 100 GB. 100 GB. Expand. Make it 110. Okay. Expand. Okay. Now it is make it as 100, 110 GB. Okay. Click OK. Power on. Okay. We'll see. What we did is 10 GB we created additional disk. How it is going to show in a disk management. We added 10 GB to existing disk. How it is going to represent in the disk management. Okay. This is a function wherein we are going to do a disk expansion, disk management, creating additional disk, expanding existing disk. Is there any possibility in disk management? What are the options are available? Okay. What is a basic disk? What is a MBR partition? What is a GPT partition? I'm going to cover these topics tomorrow session. Just see what is there. Connect to RTP. Can I go back to RTP session? I think it is 50. Or log in here in the system itself, in the console itself. Open disk management. I'll discuss this disk management tomorrow session again, starting tomorrow session. Disk management, it is very important, troubleshooting and expand. See here, under disk management, what we noticed previous, we noticed only 100 GB. Now what it is showing here, there is an unallocated space. Unallocated space, see the representation, unallocated in the sense, the blue representation, primary partition. Whatever the space it is showing as unallocated, it is showing as a black. Okay, that in the sense I can do certain actions here. What are the actions I can do? Okay, or how to create a new partition? What is a basic disk? What is a dynamic disk? Okay, what is a MBR partition? What is a GPT partition? Where it is MBR required? Where the GPT is required? Everything we are going to understand in tomorrow session. Okay, so just we need to disk management, where in the place we are going to configure storage related tasks, either to create additional disk or to create additional, expand the existing disk. Everything we are going to perform under disk management. We are going to cover what is MBR, what is GPT, how to create a partition, okay, how to expand the existing disk, how to create a dynamic disk, okay, where we need to create a dynamic disk. All those concepts we are going to discuss tomorrow. Okay, bye for now. Thank you.